Welcome to the Meditation Mama podcast. I'm your host, Lyndsey, mama to 3 highly sensitive children, and founder of the Meditation Mama Company. On this show, we talk about motherhood, parenting, spirituality, personal growth, and shifting old paradigms that are ready to go so that you can live your most authentic, soul-aligned life. I also release special guided meditations that will help you open your heart, clear out any blocks, and soothe your nervous system. Hello, beautiful mamas. Welcome back. Today's episode is part 2 of my conversation with Elliott, the professional astrologer. This episode is one big deep dive into the 2025 Astrological Forecast. So you may want to have a pen and a piece of paper handy, or maybe have your calendar out to take note of a few of these dates. Because I know for me, when it comes to astrology, I really want to know what's going on in terms of the energy for the collective, and it always rings true once I understand it. But I often find that astrology feels, at least for me, complicated and really nuanced, and I just need someone to simplify it and say, okay, here's what's going on and here's how you can work with this energy. And Elliott does such a good job of breaking it down. So we start the episode talking about the Age of Aquarius. At the time that we filmed this, it was mid-November. So Pluto was shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius. And this kind of shift only comes every 200 years. So this is massive, massive change and transformation. Elliott breaks down how this is going to change our society, the transformations and advancements to expect, and even what to expect with these new babies that are being born under the age of Aquarius. Then we dive into the 2025 forecast, and Elliott explains all of the huge shifts, that are coming this year. This is going to be a year very much unlike any other. And again, she explains how to work with this energy for your benefit. We also discuss the new paradigm in parenting, how millennials are really shifting the world right now by nurturing these younger generations of children in a softer, more open, more connected way. We're really using our empathy and our intuition. And because many of us are more open, have done the work to be more open in our emotions, that is really helping us as parents and shifting the world for generations to come, especially I feel with the masculine, because the dads are really, really stepping up these days. And I see it even just at preschool drop off. It's like half the people that are dropping off now are dads. You know, they're just really stepping up. They're really taking on that role of caretaker. It's no longer just on the mom as it was for many of us in my generation. And they are more open and they're being more gentle and more soft and more connected with the children than I feel ever before. And this is going to make a huge difference for those of us raising boys, which just makes me so excited. I feel like this wounded masculine, you know, that like hyper masculine macho vibe that was very present and seemed very attractive when I was like a teenager and in my 20s. The unavailable male, that is going away. And we've really shifted into this new beautiful paradigm in our relationships and parenting, and it's continuing to shift. And so we touch on that as well. And yeah, I'm just so excited to share this episode with you. Let me know what you think as always, and let's get into it. I want to chat about this, and I was thinking about with your baby too, like, wow, this is so cool. This Age of Aquarius, these kids that are coming in, we're recording this in early November, but as of next week, by the time this recording's out,
we're mid-November.
These kids that are coming,
we're not even early November right
You're
now.
right, we are mid-November. But yeah, these kids that are coming in are all going to be the Age of Aquarius. Can you, in your words, touch on that? Because I know I've read a bunch of information. I don't know if everyone listening has, but what is this significance of moving from Pluto in Capricorn to Pluto in Aquarius? Like, what does that mean for us as a society? And what do you think it means for these kids coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of picture these little geniuses, honestly, because I mean, we're moving from like what feels like traditional systems, traditional capitalism, traditional ways of doing things, and it's a dismantle. And we're already seeing that in the US and our political system, even in the way in which, President-elect Trump is hiring his cabinet members and doing things like there's a new way of doing business. There's a new government coming, whether we like it or not. And there's this, I was talking to somebody about this who is like deeply grieving the outcome. And as an astrologer, I'm like, it's so objective for me. I mean, I can have my personal views, of course, but like, I'm like, I could have told you that this was going to happen. I could have predicted this, and it doesn't surprise me, I guess is what I want to say. And so with the with the Age of Aquarius, it just makes sense where we're just like, it feels more like we are, we're just so sick of how things have been done. We're so sick of being told certain things and things haven't been working or haven't been, um, like we're actually not receiving the benefits as much as we thought we were. And so there's just a new way of doing business, a new way of doing government, a new way of doing society. But with our children and just in general, with this Age of Aquarius or Pluto moving into Aquarius, it just feels like there's going to be such a focus on advancements. And that's why I'm like, these little geniuses are coming in. Saturn, uh, I almost said Saturn. Pluto is where we have to do our biggest work. And so when a child has Pluto, wherever somebody has Pluto in our chart, is something that we deeply fear and something where it's asking us to really own our personal power. And so these kids coming in are really going to have to own and work with this capability and possibility of the kind of person and the kind of um, influence that they can have on the world and society and technology and the advancements that we have. That's why I'm like, these little geniuses, if they can accept their power, if they can accept that what they're coming into is to really be part of this new age, this new earth, it gets to be really special. And for us as like adults, as a society, like, I don't think we're surprised by AI at this point, right? Like, it's been around for a minute. And I think we're going to be really surprised by the advancements that are made. Like, I don't even think we can conceptualize them right now. Truth, I know I can't. I don't have any air in my chart. So it's like conceptually, it's always hard to conceptualize these things, is always harder, but I'm in awe of it when it occurs. And I think with Pluto moving into Aquarius, we have Uranus moving into Gemini next summer. We're just going to see technological advancements. We're going to see communicative advancements. We're going to see AI advancements. Like, science is going to just keep coming online. Science and spirit, but it feels like, yeah, it just feels like things are going to move at rapid speed, and we either get to be on board with that and get to be okay with that, and we get to accept that, and we get to say, okay, how do I make this work for me? Or we can choose to fear it, which I think everything in moderation. We don't need AI, we don't need AI for everything. But I think it's also going to do for us, which is going to be really fun for me as an astrologer, is like, it's going to really, astrology is way more mainstream and way more accepted. It's less taboo. I think Neptune and Pisces did that for us. Certainly Saturn and Pisces did that for us. And I think it's just going to keep getting more mainstream, where we're going to see more astrology advancements, where we're going to be able to use more apps and more astrology tools to help support us through transits, to help support us through different things that are happening in our life. I think technology is just going to get smarter and be able to help us see, like, oh, what's happening above is affecting us below. And I think there's going to be that bigger marriage of, yeah, advancements, at least from an astrological perspective, where I'm like looking at it even through my business lens. I'm like, okay, how do we tap into these advancements to like stay on top of the trends instead of feel like I'm being left behind, or I don't feel like I'm going to be replaced. AI can't replace a reading. I'm not worried about that because it's so intuitive and
Yeah.
holistic. And there's so many ways in which you can use AI already that can be so deeply supportive and helping people feel seen and understood. And that's my mission as an astrologer and as a previous therapist. I'm like, I just want people to have permission to be themselves and to get that there's nothing fucking wrong with them, and that whatever they're experiencing, we can navigate that through understanding themselves on a deeper level. But I think, yeah, I think it's exciting. I think we're going to move fast. I think there's going to be lots of advancements, lots of science happening, lots of technological advancements. I think Uranus moving into Gemini next year is really going to speed things up for us. I think we're going to be, I mean, I don't know about you, but Jupiter's in Gemini right now. And I don't have any air in my chart, so I feel overstimulated by this, but I wonder if like you have felt this sense of like communication overload, or the need to do all the things, or all these ideas but like hard to put them into practice, or just like this sense of like stimulation or overstimulation. Jupiter moved into Gemini back in June.
Yes.
And yeah, have you felt that?
Yeah, for sure. I have days where I'm like, I am going in, like I said, I'm going in my little bubble and
Yeah,
I'm just like tuning out the world. And I go on Instagram just to check my messages super quick. And that's it. And I don't watch TV really at all, anyways. And I don't listen to
yeah,
any podcasts that day. And I'm like, I need a
yeah,
cleanse. Like, I need a
yep,
tech cleanse, an
for
information
sure.
cleanse, because
Information
my
cleanse,
intuition gets muddied from it too. And I can
for
always
sure.
tell when that starts to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's 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 cute, little Jupiter and Gemini. And then so when Uranus, which is a sign, Uranus rules Aquarius, like when we're that's a sign of innovation and technology and advancement. So when that moves into Gemini, that's where I'm like, different types of communication, different types of apps are going to come out, different types of way of connecting with people are going to completely shift. I'll be really curious what new apps come out for us to really keep us social or keep us engaged, but also keep us separated in some way. But I'm like, oh, next year is going to be, if we think this year's been buzzy, like, I think next year's going to be pretty buzzy too.
Ooh, I'm actually so excited about that because I've been feeling like I go in waves with like Instagram in particular. I'm not on Facebook and I'm not
Yep.
on X. But I go in waves with Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. TikTok's like way
Yeah.
too much for me. But I go in waves with Instagram where I'm like, I'm into it and I've connected with so many amazing people through it. Like I met you through it, through a
Mm-hmm.
friend, and it's been fantastic for connecting. But then I go in waves where I'm like, I'm so over this. Like there's got to be
Yeah.
something better where you can go a little more deep and less surface. And I want
Mm-hmm.
more like, I don't know, more videos, but not like reels. Do you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
want more
Mm-hmm.
personal face to face kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
curious to see what comes out with that. And I want to do a platform one day for the Meditation Mama. I'm manifesting it for either the end of next year or maybe 2026. And I was thinking, like, which platform would I use? And right now, I'm not really thrilled with any of them.
Any of them.
I'm,
Yeah.
I want something where I could video message my people and talk to them
Yeah.
that way. And there's not a lot out there right now.
It's funny because you say that and I'm like, well, Snapchat, it's not a platform, but like you get video
Yeah.
messaging with Snapchat, but like
Yeah.
Snapchat is not a business platform whatsoever. I don't even use Snapchat, but it wouldn't surprise me that those are coming out. Even like, I'm not on, actually, that's not true. I actually just signed up for X this week because I'm like, I want to like, there's, I think, a whole different side. There's a whole bunch of conversations happening on X that I'm not privy to. And I'm like, I just want to like be informed about things. But I think that they do video and video chat rooms
Yeah.
similar to, what was that? What was that app last year, 2 years ago, that everyone got on? Clubhouse, where you could like audio chat or like
Oh,
have
yeah.
audio rooms. But I think X might have audio rooms or even like FaceTime rooms. Like, I don't know, but I feel like there's advancements coming in that way where we're going to see more community and we're going to see more people wanting to come together. I mean, Aquarius is all about finding your people who share your same lifestyle, share your same vision, share your same hopes and dreams. And so Pluto moving into Aquarius is really supportive of that. But like, like, because we're both Leo risings, I know where things are in your chart. So like Jupiter is hanging out in that 11th house of your chart right now, which is all about creating community and all about finding your people and all about connecting with people in a way that feels instant, but also feels like you're like you're building something. Like it's important for you to feel like you're in connection with the people who not just elevate you, but you elevate them too. It's actually funny because I started a membership too. And I'm like, why do I have the urge to start a membership? And I was like, oh, these transits that are happening. I'm like, I get it. It makes sense to me. But we just want to feel connected to people who, value the same things that we value and who want to learn and grow and expand with us in the same ways. And that's what that for us right now with Jupiter in our 11th house, like that's what we're experiencing. And then, next year it'll go into our 12th house, which will actually be perfect for you because the 12th house is the house of retreat and rest. And so we'll be growing a lot behind the scenes. And so having a platform where maybe you don't have to be on to the world, but you can be on to your people will feel really supportive for us, or really supportive for you, just connecting with your community in that way.
Oh, that's so good to know. I love that. Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody said something to me the other day, and they said, I feel like, because I was saying, I just need that connection. Like when I get a meditation review or when I get a message from somebody, it lights me up for the rest of the day. Like it's like
Yeah.
nourishment, it's like food for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were like, I feel like you could sell like 10 million meditations and you would not care if you weren't getting feedback from people. And I said, yeah, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just need to feel connected to people and I want
Yeah.
to know that I'm making an impact because if
Yeah.
I'm not making a positive impact, then I just feel like, why am I here? You know?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I always bring it back to astrology, but I'm like, yeah, your moon, which is what you feel most nourished by, is by sharing your wisdom, sharing your message, communicating what you know. And in that fifth house of Leo and your Leo rising, it does part of your nourishment. I mean, like Leos need, it's not even validation. Like Leos need feedback. Like, tell me what you
Yeah.
loved about this experience with me. Tell me why you love me. Tell me why you think I'm fucking great. Like, tell me, like I know that, but like, tell me
Yeah.
why. Like, tell me in your words. And so it's not even about like, but it's like wanting to know it's made a difference and made that impact. And like, it's wanting to know like if there's this felt sense of connection with somebody, and you get that through words or through feedback, right? And so like that is literally a sense of nourishment when you think about Sag. And it's like I poured my heart into this. I shared with you what came through. I channeled this for you. I created this for you. And it makes me feel so good when I receive that back. Like that's that like Sag moon fifth house connection for you. Astrologically
Yes, that's
speaking.
how I feel. Every meditation for me that I create, it's like my baby. And I put
Mm,
so much love and effort and like I set all these intentions. I call in like high vibrational energy. Like I really, even if it's 5 minutes, like I put so much effort into it. It truly
yeah.
is like I'm giving birth every single time.
Yeah.
And my
Oh.
business is it's like my fourth baby. I almost went for a fourth baby and I'm like, no, this is the one.
This is it. Yeah.
This she is the fourth baby. So
Yeah.
what are the other so you already touched on two of the biggest astrological themes for 2025, but what else do we need to know as we go into this next year?
Um, yeah, actually all the planets are basically changing signs, which is pretty wild. So Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 19th. Um, we do have a Mars retrograde happening. I mean, that happens every couple of years. It's not as big of a deal as some of these other things that are occurring, but we're going to notice a collective slowdown start. We're already feeling it, honestly, because we're in a shadow period, but December 6th, it goes retrograde in Leo and then back into Cancer until the end of February. And so I think if people are surprised that they're like, where's my motivation? Or like, why don't I feel as inspired to do this work? Or like, why do I feel like maybe there's more things coming up when it comes to how I assert myself or boundaries or conflicts? Like we can kind of expect that from the Mars retrograde, but it's also a great time to fucking review your work and to review your business and to review your boundaries and to spend time. It's gonna be in Cancer most of the time, so like spend time with your family. And like yeah, I think it's a really reflective time, which will be really beautiful, but it can mean that we have less access to energy especially if
Mhm.
if it hits your personal Mars. But besides that, we have Saturn moving into Aries, which is Saturn changes signs every 2.5 years. And so Saturn moves into Aries May, March, April, May, sometime in the spring. I think it's May. I
Spring.
think it's yeah, spring. I think it's May. I'm like, I haven't looked ahead at the specific days. I can only, my brain has capacity for only so much, but yeah, I think it's May. Where that'll be really exciting because, we've had Saturn in Pisces for 2.5 years. We've had Neptune in Pisces since 2000 and I don't remember dates. Can't bring it up. Can't give it to you. A while, 14 years, 10 years, 12 years. Can't bring it up for you. But we've had these two planets in like massive water signs. And so moving them, they'll both be moving into Aries in the spring. And it's going to shift the way that we feel. Like Pisces gives us um, this perfect entrance into um spirituality, and this perfect entrance into almost like a passive state of being. And that's great. We love that. It gives us this more receptive state. But Aries is like, it's time to fucking go. Like, let's go to work. Like, let's make shit happen. Like, um let's let's trailblaze. Let's all be trailblazers. So I think with Saturn and Neptune both moving into Aries, we're just going to notice this shift in society, but also in business, where we're just going to feel more excited to be creating and more motivated to be creating and more willing to be doing things that feel like more effort, because Mars is effort, Mars is action, Mars is hustle, Mars is what we Mars is what we do. But in Pisces, sorry, Aries is ruled by Mars. So that's why I'm saying that. In Pisces, it's very receptive. It's very more behind the scenes. It's very nourishing. And it can be very slow and spiritual, and like all the things that make us feel really connected to something bigger than us. And again, that's been really great, but it isn't necessarily isn't necessarily the sign that's like pushing us into action. And so moving into Aries, I think we're going to feel this like, I think especially because Mars will come out of its retrograde shadow and we'll be moving forward, and Mars will be in Leo, and it's going to be really exciting. And I think there's just going to be this energy come this spring where we're just going to be like seeing things. We're going to feel more bold and more visionary and more trailblazing. And I think we're going to see again some of those advancements that we've been talking about. And we're going to feel really motivated to like do something different and to like bust out of old ways and to really create, just to create. um and like I think we're not going to be as afraid as maybe, or as resistant as we have been to some of the planning and the consistency and the follow through that we've been in. That Pisces sometimes, is like, says, um, Pisces sometimes can say, like, I'm good right now. I don't need to keep moving forward. And it's a mutable sign. So it changes directions, right? And not that Aries is great on follow through either, because it's like, I'm going to start something, but I'm not necessarily going to finish it. But with Saturn in Aries, it's going to give us that finishing energy, that endurance to start something, to set things up in place, and to feel like we can actually be moving forward. I think there's a collective grieving process right now too, with at the time of us recording this. So I think we're going to be beyond that collective grieving process, and we're going to be in action and doing things, and people are going to not be over it, but be, I think, more motivated to, either do something about it that feels productive for them, or the other political side is going to feel like they're going to be feeling like the choices that have been made are actually like been really supportive for them, if that makes sense. So we've got Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Gemini, Uranus in Gemini. Jupiter will move into Cancer in June ish. I'm pretty sure July. June. Again, haven't looked ahead of exact dates because brain is managing all that it can right now. And then those are the big ones. And then Pluto moved into Aquarius next week. So like that's like fucking huge to have all of the outer planets and the social planets move into a new sign. They call it ingresses, but like they move into a new sign, and it just means we're going to be like navigating like, it's like a recalibration, which I'm a Scorpio moon. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Let's figure it out. Like, it's going to feel exciting. It's going to feel like there's a new age, like a new era, like a rebirth. And like, I'm like, okay, like if we can get people to think about the future in a way that is like future focused and like opportunistic, like it's okay to be excited about the future. It's okay to be looking forward to what changes are happening, even if they weren't the changes that you wish. Like, it's okay to be thinking about things in a way that says, like, what if it could get better? what if it does get better? I'm excited for what this means for us. I'm excited for the change, like with the planets and everything, and what that means for us, and how we can be thinking about the future in a new way and moving forward in a different way. Like, I think change is good when it comes to energy and planets, and then just all the things in which we can receive. I think change is good. But I'm a Scorpio moon with a lot of Pluto aspects, so I'm used to change. So I'm like,
Yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm so excited. I just had this conversation where with a friend where I was saying like I can understand most sides of anything. Hold on. I was having this conversation with a friend where I said I can relate to a lot of people and a lot of different things, but the one thing I have a really hard time relating to is people that don't want to change or don't want to accept change.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
freaking love it. I'm like, bring
yeah,
it. Bring on the
yes,
transformation. And
yes,
like if you think the world is perfect as it is, I mean, you
yeah.
got to wake up. It's time to wake up, people. But
It's time to wake
yeah,
up.
I'm
Yeah.
super excited. And I feel like I always say this about the kids because, like I said, they're 7. My kids are 7, 4, and 2, and they're just such bright little lights, and they're so
Mm,
wise beyond their ears, and they're
yeah.
just these kids they're so sensitive. Like the younger and younger ones, I'm seeing it in their classes where they're just like such little sensitive empaths, and I
Yeah.
feel like the parents are nurturing that more,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're super intuitive, and I'm like, this is the future. Like I'm so
Yeah.
excited. We're
Yeah.
kind of ushering it in, I feel like, for them to
Mm-hmm.
really get to like take it from
Be
there.
accepted. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it's a nurturance of that energy. It's nurturing of their care and their kindness and their hearts, where before that was judged and,
Hmm.
sit down, be
It was suck it
quiet.
up.
Yeah, yeah,
Suck it
yeah. Suck
up.
it up.
You're too
Exactly.
much. Nope. Take that tantrum to the other room. Yeah, that was,
Exactly,
yep.
exactly. And like learning, even like as I'm excited, because I'm like, I know parenting is going to be such a fucking edge for me, like, and which I'm excited about. I'm like, okay, let's bring it on. Like, I'm ready for this growth because I'm not going to receive this growth without it. Like parenting is a different kind of initiation than relationship growth, right? And I'm like, like to be able to handle my child's big emotions, and like how I'm going to already can feel what that's going to bring up for me, and how like I'm just so excited to grow in this way where I get to be a better version of me for my to be a better version of a parent, like for my child. Like I'm like, what a fucking gift it is to be able to nurture myself, to then nurture and raise the best child that I can. Like like I can't imagine being any other way because I am who I am right now, right? But I also can't imagine, yeah, I just like the parents, or even our parents' generation of parents who just like don't see it that way or didn't see it that way, and
Hmm.
like they were doing the best they could always. And I'm like, what a gift we have to
Yeah.
like care for the next generation. And to like, my husband and I are just like, I can't believe we get the privilege of like molding and raising like an excellent human, and like not excellent by like academic standards or any, but just like just a cool ass human who like gets the full spectrum of life. Like we're just so excited to nurture that. And like what a privilege, like what a gift.
Yeah, and you're literally transforming your lineage to come, which is like so
Yeah.
trippy to think about. But I think about that all the time, the things that my husband have taken, the positive, and then the things we've
Yeah.
left behind from our families. And it's like,
Yeah.
this is what we gave our kids, and then we are transforming things for
Yeah.
years and years and years to come. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is. Motherhood is, I say I love to transform, but that was my biggest transformation to
Yeah. Oh,
date,
I'm
was
sure.
my first child. And like each child transforms you, but
Yeah.
that first one, I was like, wow, I feel like it unlocked this piece of me, this part of me that I didn't know I was missing, this part of me that I
Mm.
love so much, and I would never give back in a million years. And
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
way ahead of where I was. You're already so self-aware with all the stuff. For me, it was kind of a shock,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But I also am like, oh, I've thought about this before, because I'm like, I'm 37. And so I'm like, okay, having my first child at 37 is neither here nor there for me. But I'm like, oh, if I would have had them sooner, I would have had more time with them. It's like that feeling of like,
oh,
it couldn't have happened any sooner than when it is. And I'm like, I know the moment I have them, I'm going to be like, I wish I've had you all along. But I wouldn't have been this person. I wouldn't have been this mother might not have even had this partner, you know, like if I would have had them sooner.
Right.
So it's all exactly when it's meant to be. But it is like, I know I'm excited for that. Like, I feel like pregnancy, I even said to Jess, I'm like, you didn't tell me it was such a fucking psychedelic experience, like such a spiritual experience to be pregnant,
Yeah.
to be like, I feel like I've been microdosing this entire time where I'm just like, oh shit, this pattern, this insight, this dynamic. And I'm like, I've literally had so many conversations with my husband. I'm like, I get that like this isn't like totally disruptive to our dynamic, but like baby doesn't want to come in with this dynamic. Like it says we're done. So we got to be done with it. Like it's not even a conversation. I'm sorry. We're just like,
Yeah.
you don't do this anymore and I don't do this, like period. Like we're just like we're kind of done. So it's like, I'm just taking orders at this point. Like, and I'm just telling you what my experience is. But I was like, baby doesn't want to come in with this dynamic, so it's bringing it to my attention, and I'm bringing it to yours, and we're done. So I told Jess, I'm like, you didn't tell me it was like fucking microdosing, and I'm like, I can't imagine then actually having a child is, and then like just noticing everything else and how like of course like everything shapes them too, and so being like, okay, how do we? What else has got to go? What else has got to shift? What else has got to change? How else do we grow? And that's why I'm like, we can, I felt this way before I met my husband. I was like, I'm great. I've done so much personal development work. Like my next relationship is going to be XYZ. And then I meet him and I was like, fuck, I have so much work to do in relationship. But we're relational beings. We heal in relationship. And so I needed to meet and be with someone to be able to heal those relational wounds. And so like being a mother or becoming a parent is going to offer me the opportunity to heal parts of my inner child and then also transform in a way that like I would never get if it wasn't for being pregnant or becoming a mother. Yeah.
Yeah, beautifully said. It's so true. I mean, your children will bring up triggers that you didn't know you had. They'll
Yeah.
bring up
Yeah.
healing that you didn't know
Yeah.
you needed. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like little tiny mirrors on everything. And they're
Yeah.
actually, it's not so much a mirror, it's almost like a microscope on all the
Mm,
things. But
yeah.
it's such an incredible opportunity if you just look at it that way to become, I always say, like my highest, brightest self,
Yeah.
because I don't know that version of me pre-children. She thought she
Yeah.
was her highest, brightest self,
Yeah.
but
She thought she
whoa,
was great.
like,
I know.
yeah, yeah, she had no idea.
Yeah. And I'm like humble. I've been humbled enough in life to know that like I don't know shit. So I'm like I like in my 20s I thought I knew everything. But then like yeah, post Saturn return, I'm like, I don't know shit. Like I don't know nothing about nothing. What is that? What is that Ozark? What do they say in that show Ozark? It's like I don't know shit about fuck. Like that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know anything. And so I'm like happy to be humbled by the experience. I'm happy to learn. Like I don't like, and I think that's the gift of being so growth oriented, right? And like why it's so important to like have a curious mindset and a growth mindset to be able to be open to the new experiences of like literally what like what am I meant to learn from this? And like I'm not growing if I'm not open. And like I have plenty of experiences where like no, I have my preferences. Like you have a lot of fixed energy in your chart. I have a lot of fixed energy in my chart. Like it's not always the most flexible. And we usually come around, especially because we are so like spiritual forward or like open and curious and willing to see things from different perspectives and be open minded. And I think that like that's the greatest gift that not only do we give ourselves in our relationships but then our fucking children. Like let me see it from your point of view. Like it doesn't have to be my way, and just because my way was my way for so long doesn't mean that I can't change or be something different for whomever that for whatever that child, my child's gonna need. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like that's the new way of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a co-creation. It's not I'm the
Yeah.
parent and I'm the leader and I'm the teacher and I know
Yeah.
everything. It's very much like you're guiding me too. Like what do
Mhm.
you think
Mhm.
about this? And I
Mhm.
think that will actually shift the world when more and more people fall into that. And I see it around a lot. I feel like more and more people are doing it, but it certainly isn't how most of us were parented. So,
No, no, but it's so beautiful to see online. Like I'm so expanded and inspired by parents like that. Like, I mean, yeah, it's incredible. And I hope that like the way my husband and I will parent our children will inspire people too, will inspire our family members or, whomever to just look at things a different way.
You will. You will. I
Yeah.
have no doubt you will.
Aw.
Oh, well, that sounds like the perfect place to end. Thank you so much, Elliott, for being
Oh,
here.
thanks. Yeah.
Where can the listeners find you and all of your amazing offerings?
Oh, yay. Thank you. I'm on Instagram _Elliott Lee. And I have a website, which also, because #maternity leave, you can't book a reading with me currently. So Instagram will be the first place to be able to like figure out when I open my books again for those. But I actually do have a membership that I'm keeping open during my maternity leave. I've been, like I was sharing with you, I started back, on the full moon in Aquarius, actually, back in February, or sorry, new moon in Aquarius. So it would have been back in February, um, where I help people live and learn their chart. And then of course embody their chart. And then I help them, uh, kind of use the transits that are occurring. So like I just did a whole musing. It's called Astro Musings. Because my 12th house Mercury just likes to jam and muse on things. And so I just did a musing on the full moon in Taurus. Of course, that's happening today. Also, happy full moon in Taurus. We didn't even talk about that, but
Yeah.
happy full moon in Taurus. But there, I have a membership where I help people not only understand their astrology, but live and embody it. And then where we stay up to date on the astrological forecast, so to speak. But yeah, you can find that on my Instagram as well.
Thank you so much. It was so
Yeah.
good. And we will see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, Lyndsey.
Oh. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the Meditation Mama podcast. Your support means the world to me. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, subscribe, and share with a loved one. Check out my meditations and all of my offerings at themeditationmama.com. And sign up for my newsletter, and you will receive 2 free meditations. I would also love to hear from you, so send me a message on my Instagram at _meditation mama or an email on my website. See you next time.